afternoon, evening, morning, whenever you're seeing this. I hope you're having a good day. Uh, right now is going to be my very first episode of my Super Stoners Sunday podcast. Uh, like always, no matter what, for me, no matter uh, like always, any music I play during this time, I do not own the copyrights of it. I'm just a video gaming stoner who loves music and is a huge believer in music memory and that music is the expression of the soul. Uh, with that being said, if I ever look up here, I personally have a whiteboard up here so that if I ever get track of what I'm or forget what I'm talking about and to get myself back on track, I'll personally just look up there. Next up, and first thing I want to talk about with on this podcast is no matter what, in all of my videos, I'm going to basically have it as truthful and as honest or as raw of a flame as I can to basically give you the truest expression of who I am. Later along down the line, I might have slightly edited videos, but if anything I'm doing on here, I kind of want y'all to see it just so that later along I can kind of laugh back at it, or y'all can see the struggles of someone who's just starting out can do, like with their personal expression. I mean, uh, next up is really going to be the point of I'm doing this on minimalistic money that I've put towards my collection that y'all see behind me. The frame I have up in here in total is about $60. I kind of want this channel to basically be so that in the future people will have a basic guideline for themselves to potentially make their own brand and kind of do what I'm doing. Of course, they're not me, and I gotta add a little bit of a cocky attitude to it. But they're ultimately not going to be me, so, but I'm going to create that mentality and that thought process of everything to show for future generations. Next up, I'm going to kind of just go over a couple things for legal reasons and kind of just like a personal thing for me. Ultimately, this is my channel, it is my rules, and with that being said, y'all are ultimately here for me. If there is something you as a person do not like, you can either look at as a reflection to see what you personally don't like in either yourself, other content creators, stuff like that, and that, or you could literally just click the back tab button and go to a different page. Either or, I really don't care. I'm doing this for my own enjoyment. Uh, for legal reasons, whenever I smoke tobacco on this channel, for me personally, tobacco, as stated before, uh, I use tobacco as a way to connect with ancestors through Native American culture. And with that being said, also, I do limit myself to 3 black and milds or or 3 cigars per day, 2 black and mild or 2 BLKs and 1 black and mild. And there's a specific reason is because just for my average day, I'm usually active for about 12 hours, whether I'm on or off stream. And then also in the tarot, with me having 2 black and milds and ultimately, or 2 BLKs and 1 black and mild for 3 cigars in total, I can correlate it to the tarot in the sense of the 2 and 3 of wands, which I'm going to actually grab my tarot deck and read it out of my book for y'all. And for those wondering, I mostly use the in between tarot. For me, I have a lot of like abstract concept of mind. So this deck really personally speaks to me in the sense of it's not exactly one card, it's not exactly the other, but a kind of combination of 2 others. And then for the 2 of Wands, for those curious as well, this is what the 2 of Wands look like in this deck. And then the Ace/2 of Wands that y'all just seen. The Ace of Wands represents in this deck creation and energy. The 2 of Wands is choice and ambition. The in between concept is to be or not to be. That is the question. This in between stage describes how we can make us indecisive. That choice that are laid out can be so tempting and fun that is so often hard to decide which one to go for. To describe the energy of this stage would be a feeling of curiousness to see what lies around the next corner and how we will proceed next. And then with the 2/3 of Wands, you have the same keywords from the 2 of Wands, and then the 3 of Wands is creative partnership and enterprise, and the in between concept is furthering the dream, which is what I'm doing. The in between concept text says this card shows that the woman, 2 of Wands, has made a choice to practice a skill she is being about to face with a proposition from a third party. 3 of Wands, the woodland background signifies growth. In this in between stage, our central character is nervous about joining forces with another person. She is very involved in her craft and doesn't want to share it with anybody. It took a long time to perfect her skill, and there is a bit of trepidation shown here. And then the other card I have here is the 3/4 of Wands, which is in this deck, the journey. For me, anyway. And then with those both being said, for me, tobacco basically, in a sense, represents the fire element. And correlating with that is going to be my earth element, or my medicinal marijuana. Let me put that black and mild out, put that on that ashtray, and take a green hit because I'm talking about pinnacles. And then for the actual property of elements between the earth and fire for this deck, the earth element is the oldest of the four elements. Earth has the literal stood the test of time and has been born from exploding stars and the earth of other galaxies. Earth can hear all of the other three elements effortlessly. Fire burns bright on the Earth's surface, and the products of fire carnage can feed the earth and produce growth. Water flows across the earth's surface, and air blows across the earth, and provides essential life giving our human race needs to survive. Earth is the bare essential. Earth stands up for our material needs, our resources, and everything that is important to us on a very basic and essential level. The astrological signs Taurus, Virgo, me, and Capricorn all have basic correspondence with the sign of element and shared traits for being grounded, materialistic, and strong. The suit of coins can also be called pentacles. I'm not going to get the last little bit. I'm just going to move on to wands. The wand suit has a correspondence with the element of fire. Fire is a very powerful element. It burns very bright when earth and air are involved. They work naturally together. However, water will put out fire as the other two elements do not work together. It is very important to recognize the elements that that complement and elements that are problematic when combined. Fire is symbolic of ambition, creativity, and talent. What I'm trying to do with this channel. The raw energy that pushes us forward to succeed where others fear to tread. What I'm attempting to do with this channel and everything I'm trying to build with my life and everything that's going to be coming 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years down the line. Our hobbies and things that will make us smile are all in symbolic of fiery energy. All the badges we earn in school and the good times we remember that make us smile. This element is the correspondence for three astrological signs: Aries, Sagittarius, and Leo. So it's important to remember that the associated qualities for fire will also apply to them. Put you back. And then so with a lot of that being said, my medicinal marijuana is basically my pinnacle and my way of grounding myself through my ADHD and whatnot. My tobacco is my wands, and one thing I'm wanting to do with this channel on top of all the little side things is whenever I do bring up weed, I am going to preemptively do like a chart that I'm going to share where it has basically the strand, the average THC, about how many terps the strand has, what prominent terps it has, what the terps medicinal properties are, what major flavors you'll have when both smoking and smelling the actual bud. Yeah. Where did I put my water? Over here. Let me get some peanuts because I have some munchies. Don't worry, y'all. I'm not going to give y'all any ASMR, or attempt to anyway. But either or, with that out of the way, I kind of want to use the rest of the time to kind of just tell y'all about me, who I am, what I stand for, my personal beliefs, stuff that has happened in my past, so that I can really just release it onto the web. So starting out, really, I'm just going to kind of keep it honest. My name is Marcus Lord, or as if y'all seen my kind of like introduction, which was a little bit depressing. My name was Marcus Lord. This last year, I ended up getting personally disowned and stripped of my last name from my father's father. We ended up getting in a little bit of dispute. He ended up calling me a druggie, and I would end up just like my brother. It was the first message I seen in the morning, and basically, I was not having it. I was like, if you're going to treat your family like this, don't even consider me family, just disown me from family. Well, he did, and technically, I'm by name no longer Marcus Lord. With that being said, here in the next couple of months, I am going to be legally changing my last name to Exothermal. So, after the next couple of months, I'm going to be referred to as Marcus Exothermal, Exo, ET, heat. It doesn't really matter to me, just as long as it has some type of correlation to fire. With that being said, exothermal, or the originator of the name slash word, is actually comes from exothermic or exothermic reactions, which, if y'all don't know physics or didn't pay attention to physics, if when you were in it, an exothermic reaction is whenever, I believe, two different bonds have a chemical reaction and heat is produced from that reaction. Well, don't quote me on that. And this was the last thing I was going to emphasize before I went on this tangent is keep in mind I am a high school dropout. I ended up leaving my high school after one of my teachers and one of my counselors ended up calling me one day after I wasn't showing up online for my COVID classes, and they ended up telling me that if I didn't graduate, I wouldn't amount to shit until I. So yeah, as I was saying, the an exothermic reaction is a chemical reaction that produces heat. Well, I ended up switching it up a little bit to exothermal because I wanted to be mentally remembered as someone who ended up passionately giving it their all whenever people show their friends, like, oh my god, this is a cool player type thing, they bring up my channel. And for those that follow Super Smash Bros. Melee, I want to be Mango on a big scale. I don't want to be another Mango for Smash. I want to be Mango for the internet. Uh, so I always, whenever I play video games, I like to put in my all. I like to have fun with it. I like to do funny, wacky things. Uh, I might take things serious here and there depending on the actual game I'm playing, which I might get a little bit serious and somewhat salty depending on if I'm playing Smash Bros. Or not. But I'm also attempting to be a coach and own an esports team for this game, so, and other games eventually. But Smash Bros. Is what I'm essentially focusing on. Next up, I'm going to be talking about kind of just my personal beliefs and what I think is true. But before that, I want to include some like spiritual terminology. In the sense of there are some words in spiritual use that have altering meaning depending on who you go to. And this is going to apply more for like my tarot channel and such. But uh, the first one I'm going to be talking about is one that's very loosely thrown about and I feel like is kind of misconceived to a degree nowadays, which is actually the term of twin flame. And I feel like we ultimately only have one true twin flame. And with that being said, what that personally means to me and my perspective of reality, that is basically one complete mirror of you. That is in the sense of y'all are fundamentally the same character, but there's just some slight twist here and there. Best way to put it is literally just kind of like yin and yang. It is the same concept, but is mirrored and flipped. So, and I'm not taking into consideration physical attributes. I am talking about raw energy. Next concept I'm going to talk about initially is what I refer to as time hopping, or more accurately represented to be as timeline jumping. So if you also know a little bit of science, then you would know that quote unquote time is linear. Well, through every action we decide, whether it's choosing a different cereal at the morning, whether you decide to have oatmeal over coffee, whatever. Each decision you make is an alternate timeline, and there is a personal version of yourself that, when you correlate a mainstream timeline, that you'll basically time hop between different timelines depending on how minor of a decision it was. And with that, you can subconsciously time hop between timelines to more accurately combine your external timelines. Okay, so next thing I'm going to talk about is just kind of like the wording of my personal beliefs, which is my main quote unquote three major religions, which is Nordic paganism, Taoism, and then Omnicism, which is basically, for Nordic paganism, excuse me, with Nordic paganism, it is basically complete brotherhood and the raising of those that are closest to you. And then, with that also being in mind, Nordic paganism doesn't ask higher powers for forgiveness. It's within the, I believe, 9 noble truths for Nordic paganism. Moving on to the next religion is Taoism, which is mostly that energy is, or not exactly energy, but your ability to enter a flow state in the sense of subconscious action. And that subconscious action can be as little as you do 2 push-ups out of the blue just because you wanted to. Instead of grabbing a soda, you decide to get tea. Or more commonly active is video gamers and athletes who quote unquote enter the zone, which is basically timeless action that your mind subconsciously already did. For my next major religion, it is basically with Omnicism, it is the belief that not a single religion is ultimately correct, but that the belief of multiple or all the religions, active and mythologies, technically add up to a larger puzzle of spirituality. In the same sense, I am someone who does believe in reincarnation. my beliefs actually came from how I was personally raised, and I was raised in originally a Catholic family, and as I got older, uh, things kind of ended up just loosening up a little bit and ended up becoming a little more open-minded. Well, after I got out of school and started learning about history and realized how whitewashed history really was in school, I actually ended up taking an interest in history, because why the hell are Gatling camels from the, I believe, 16 or 1800s in the Middle East not fucking badass? Uh, but yeah, going back to what I was saying with how I grew up, I just kind of grew up in a open-minded household, and as I got older, that kind of just more developed, and I kind of just take that into consideration from uh, my ancestry. With me personally, I ended up personally finding out here recently that I'm actually 40% Scottish, not 40% Native American like I initially thought, but I'm still 10% Native. Uh, the other ones I don't really take into consideration. Uh, Nigerian, Norway, Scottish, Native, Nigerian. I think that mostly covers it. I'm going to have a link that gives the specific percentages. Uh, and then one thing that I've done a lot through my life is just kind of reading stuff. And once I hit about my junior year, I got real heavy into philosophy. Uh, and I think that partially adds to my omniscient belief. Uh, some of the books I read are the Tao Te Ching, obviously. Uh, Currently reading Be Water, My Friend by Bruce Lee's daughter, which is his philosophy from the perspective of his daughter's. Uh, yeah, from the perspective of his daughter. Uh, the Kabbalion Hermetic philosophy, which basically the principles of the Kabbalion basically tell uh, the laws of balancement of our universe, uh, the Art of War by uh, Sun Tzu, The Inner Game of Tennis, which is a mental philosophy book about like coaching from the coach's perspective and the difference between, oh, just do this, and then the student just overthinks it, yada yada. But yeah, it was a pretty fun read. And then the last thing I wanted to get out of the way was with this channel and my other channel I'm eventually going to do. What I want eventually is I want to basically incentivize people to more accurately enjoy the journey, I guess, and I guess be a fool and take the initial step. to show that this is completely possible and you don't need much to initially start this. I am completely blessed for the stuff I have received in the past just growing up. Now it's time for me to take what was gifted to me beforehand and starting to make a livelihood out of it. With me going to be 20 this year, some things are going to be changing for me, and my life is going to be looking completely different in the next 5 years. And I already know what that's going to be kind of like. Uh, this year, mostly, I'm wanting to challenge my mind, my body, and then to basically not only build up my own personal integrity and confidence, show that I can do stuff minimalistically and have an example for other people to lean on. Upcoming this next year, after I'm doing my daily uploads, I'm more than likely going to move to once a month streams for next year. Main reason being is my brother ended up giving me or my brother's dad, not biological or anything, ended up giving me a job offer to move out, and basically I would only be home for 1 week in a month. Uh, so I want to use that time to stream while I'm physically making good money and living free enough so that I don't have to worry about things in the next couple of years. Is there anything else I needed to get out of the way? Nope, I think that's it. Either or, I hope y'all have a great rest of your day.